alcohol. It's very good.
Ooh, does it have alcohol in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Things might get interesting.
Too funny. Okay, so let's start off with some kid chaos and man babe chaos, because I'm sure you can relate to that. So seeing that we're both moms, we're both boy moms and husbands that can be like raising children, sometimes, no offense to the husbands.
Definitely.
So my man babe, chicken's really expensive right now. Like, I mean, meat in general, everything is really expensive.
Meat and everything.
And my boys are meat eaters. I am a pescatarian. So since I moved down to Florida, I used to be a vegetarian. I've never been vegan because I like honey too much, but especially my tea when I'm sick. But it's early now, so I'm having coffee, but I will be switching to tea later. And maybe make it into like a little hot toddy, like add some whiskey to it. It's antimicrobial. It's good for the cough. It's like what grandma.
Let's stick to that.
Yeah, it's what grandma used to do.
There you go.
So anyways, back to the meat. It's like really expensive. So, unfortunately, a lot of times when my husband does the shopping, I don't know exactly what he put in the fridge unless he specifically tells me, and I write it up on, you know what I'm talking about, on like a board, so that I know, and I date it so that because I'm very specific now about putting what meat's in the fridge on my menu planning board, which is not for menu planning anymore. It's for my meat planning. And then I date it because I've wasted so much. And so I caught him, and the man babe's like, I don't care how old this chicken is. It's on my sticky note. He's like, I would rather throw up than waste it. So he will go in and eat whatever leftover chicken has been in the fridge because he's so mad about how expensive it is, that he said he would rather eat it and yak than have me throw it away because it's just so freaking expensive. Isn't that disgusting?
That's intense. That is really intense.
I know, it is super
How
intense.
does the smell not get to him as it's defrosting? Like,
I don't know. I can't. Do you eat chicken? Do you eat meat?
I'm more of a pescatarian, just like you.
Yeah.
But my son and my husband do eat chicken like a lot. And so when it goes bad, as it's defrosting, you can start to smell it. Like there's this little stench that starts to rise, right?
Oh my God, totally. I cooked in date ground turkey. This was a while ago, and it had gone bad in date and it stunk up the whole house. So like when chicken or poultry goes bad, I don't eat poultry. I gave up poultry like almost 20 years ago. Yeah, I don't like the texture either. Like I like any kind of poultry. I don't like it. So it's funny because I had to update my driver's license recently. Do you guys have to update your driver's license in Mexico like every so often, or your ID?
No.
No.
It's Mexico. There's not even like a driving test. I can just go down there on a Saturday afternoon and be like, I just want to take out my driving license. I'll be like, all right, show us where you live. Here you go. That's Seriously? It.
Wow. That's pretty cool. That's
it's frightening. It's like, it's easy, but it's frightening. It's like, all these drivers, they've just been learning how to drive with the experience and time.
Right. That is a little nerve-wracking. That is pretty scary, especially since I live in Florida and there's all different people from all around the world, all different cultures and people from everywhere. And the drivers down here who have probably gone through driver's school scare the heck out of me. So I don't know how I'd feel about that. Oh my God. Didn't you say something about didn't you say somehow like that you were driving and like something happened where you had to like pull over? I know, I feel like I remember this, like on a side of a road with your son, and there's like people speed racing by you. I don't know why I'm remembering this, but like you had to change a diaper or something. Oh, remember? No, I don't know. Okay, well, just think about that for a second. I feel like there was like some sort of.
I mean, I did have. I did, but that wasn't in Mexico. That was in Chile.
Oh yes, where in the world is Gaby? I remember something with that. Okay, so anyways, my youngest found my old, like I keep my driver's license, so they clip it, and then I keep them just to, I don't know, just for S and G's, and he went into my jewelry
Yeah.
box because I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm back to the original booth, and because
Yeah.
I've done a little booth hopping in my house. But he found my jewelry box. I don't even really use. It's not even really jewelry. It's like more of keepsake stuff. So it's like a keepsake box. And he found my old
Yeah.
driver's license, and he's like, "Can I have this?" And I'm like, "No, you can't have it." And then he looks at it because he can read now really well. And he goes, "Why does it say sex and not gender? I don't get it." And I'm like, "What?" And so I look, because it says what sex you are, right? And he's like, "That's weird." And I was like, "That is weird, you know,
Yeah.
especially for, this day and age." I thought that was
Wow.
really like, I don't know,
Yeah.
evolved of him, I guess.
That's
I don't
interesting.
know.
I haven't even thought about that. But yeah.
It's like, "What
Yeah,
sex are you?"
definitely.
on my old driver's license.
What
And I
sex
was
are
like,
you?
I don't,
No,
it should be what gender, or what does it even matter at this point?
at this point, it's who are you,
Yes, it should just be your name and your
right?
birthday
Like,
and
or
your address.
definition. I don't know. Like, it should just be your name.
Yeah, exactly. It should just be your
Yeah.
name,
And
hair color, eye
like
color,
allergies, I guess.
address. If you're an organ donor, did you choose, well, you guys don't have license, but like, do you choose on any of your IDs to offer organ donor? I had to like, every time they ask me that
They
question,
do
I
offer that.
pause. Go ahead. Do they?
Are you reluctant on being one, or
No, it's just, I pause because it's a sense of that life ends at some point, and that one day,
mm, yeah.
I will not be here. And I pause for a second, thinking like that my life will still continue to help other people by donating my organs and giving someone else an extension of their life. Right. I have chills right
Yeah.
now. So that's where I pause, because it's, life is,
It's amazing.
yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
how do you,
definitely.
what do you think about that?
Well, here in Mexico, I wanted to add that, but I was recommended that I shouldn't because, so here's where it gets sketchy. There are people who will look like in the system, in the database system, to see who's an organ donor and then intentionally find them and cause an accident so they can take their organs.
What? Really?
Yeah. I didn't even know about that. I'm like, what? That can't be real. But just in case it is.
Yeah, just in
Yeah.
case it is. I think I would be okay. Now I'm gonna pause a second time next time to like think about that. 'Cause that's true. I mean, it could be like, that could be something, you hear about those stories, you hear about the different stories all around the world. Maybe we watch too many movies, but I mean, that now I'm gonna have to doubly pause next time they ask me. Oh, that's scary. Oh
Right? I'm
my
like, I don't know. I mean, I've heard stories that has happened to a lot of people here in Mexico. I don't know about the States, but here in Mexico. So I'm just playing it safe.
Yeah, I think I would play it safe too, right? Especially if you have drivers or not taking driver's training, and you never know who's driving on the
Yeah,
road. Okay, so do you have any kid chaos? I have
exactly.
I have all kinds of sticky notes. Do you have any kid chaos?
I love your post-its.
Do you?
Yeah. Um, I mean,
What?
I do obviously have a lot of chaos, but so I wanted to ask you, because it's all over the media, right?
Right.
Did you find out about like the Johnny Depp and the Amber Heard thing?
Yes, I did. Even though I stick my head in the sand, sometimes things, yeah, filter through.
It kind of pops up because it's so viral.
Right.
It just pops up. And I just kept on like, I remember I looked at my husband, I'm like, I kind of worry for like my son, because what if he like I'm trying to teach him all these values and how to respect women and everything, you try
Mhm.
to like raise them up as best as you can, trying to like explain consent and
Mhm.
how to view someone else, like
Mhm.
not as weaker, like the weaker gender,
Mhm.
but just seeing them as a person and as a whole. So what happens when they're encountered with an Amber, like with someone who can be violent towards them,
Mm,
like violence towards men, I guess,
mm-hmm.
is
Yeah,
where I'm going to. Um,
that's like a
because
really,
that's like really interesting. And it's funny because my husband, he was in a relationship, a very toxic relationship before he was in a relationship with me, with someone who was very violent and very abusive physically and emotionally
mhm,
with him. She would like
mm,
try to manipulate him. She started a whole bunch of rumors that he like hits women and like
mm.
he beat her. And I've seen this man at his worst. Never has he like even killed a fly. Like he's the last time he saw a mosquito, he's like, you better get away from me, mosquito, because I really don't want to like hurt you, but you're really pushing my buttons. Can you just leave?
I hate mosquitoes. I would smack that mosquito immediately.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm like,
Right.
boom, dead. Um, but he's not like that at
Yeah.
all. So it's interesting to me where we're in a world where we have the Me Too movement and all these women speaking up, which is
Awesome.
great. Yeah, it's awesome. And we should have this unity and believe them. And at the same time, I don't think we should shy away from the men,
Right.
from the boys, because
Yeah.
yeah, as a mother of a boy, I'm like, man, if he is in an abusive relationship, I don't want, and I've heard a lot of guys like jokingly say, well, just don't make her angry,
Yeah.
and
Right.
it's like, well, no, a woman can't get away with abusive violence in the household either.
I teach my kids, I'm like, one, stay away from the crazies in general, like whether it's, whoever it is, boy, girl, he, she, they, whatever, like stay away from the crazies because, where there's crazy, yeah. And
There's
also
problems.
there's problems. And then also I try to instill, school comes first, then your after school activities, and then your friends, and then girls, or whoever you choose to love. And but mom is always number one. And then also too, I have a teenager, so I've been teaching him that like you don't go places where there aren't grown-ups, or at least a grown-up available for me to check in with. And if you're someplace where you're uncomfortable or there's stuff going on that you're uncomfortable with, we have like a safe phrase, that he can call me and say on the phone, and it will signal to me like, hey, come get me. So I'm trying to instill with him. And I also told him, I'm like, you have to be careful this day and age when you're a boy, that you have to teach them to protect themselves too. If anybody's violent towards them, if anybody
Yeah.
gets in their bubble, and puts their hands on them in a mean
Yeah.
way, I teach my kids, get out of there, get out of there as fast as possible, run the other way. And yeah, and if a girl hits them, to walk too, like as I teach them, if a girl goes to slap them or punch them or hit them, like I teach them that, you turn around, you get the hell out of there quick, you know
Yeah.
um and to, even like you said with like the consensual stuff, um you got to be really careful, on
You
both
do.
sides of the coin, you know
Yes.
and
Yes.
yeah, and it's tricky. And a lot of times too, in kids in general in this world that we have, because there's so many crazy things going on, i just I just try to, like, the best that I can, teach them how to approach different situations. um and when you have something organic like that come up, like a story in the news where it sparks conversation, that's not cool, but it's an organic way to open up that
Like an
conversation.
organic learning experience.
Yeah, before
Yeah.
they have to see it firsthand or secondhand. um I had a conversation. I love Johnny Depp, by the way. I'm team Johnny. I am a little bit disappointed because Amber Heard is one of my favorite actresses in one of my favorite movies, which is Aquaman, so that was really all just very disappointing. And then yeah, so, and then I also just watched Dumbledore's Secrets, the latest installment of the Fantastic Beasts,
Yeah.
with Harry Potter. And obviously Johnny Depp was replaced by a different
Yeah.
actor. So that was disappointing. And then I know they're coming up with new installments of Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm hoping. I don't think that series is done. So I'm excited that I'm hopeful that Johnny Depp will be brought back in, or he'll, yeah. All of a sudden I'm seeing all these Johnny Depp
Yes.
movies. coming up on my on like Netflix and HBO and
social feed,
everything. Yeah. Because,
everywhere.
yeah. And also too, I think here's a point. Unfortunately, they're very public figures. And so, it's sad to see that kind of relationship be aired out so publicly. And also too, a lot of times when stuff happens in the news, my approach to that is you never really know what's going on behind closed doors, and the stuff that you read in the news could be 50% true and 50% could be, I don't know, elevated or fluffed up to make it more dramatic,
Juicy.
So juicy. Yeah. So I try to, I'm a middle of the road kind of person, so anyways, but you're right. That's a good point.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. For me, it hit different because of the fact that my husband had that firsthand experience.
Yeah.
So it was like, I would not like it for my son to have it. But yeah, I mean, dating for them is just going to be, it's going to be
don't
so
even,
different.
I know. I'm like, let's not talk about that. I have a friend of mine whose son is dating and my son is not dating and they're the same age and grade, my oldest. And my husband's like, well, should we be, concerned that he's not like out dating and stuff like that? Cause he's a teenager. He should be out socializing. And I'm like, no, we are good. He doesn't even want to drive. I'm like, we're good. He doesn't want to drive. Back to the driving, crazy drivers. I'm like, I'm not pushing it just because society says that he should get his permit and start driving at, 16 or 15, 16 doesn't, if he's not ready, he's not right. Yeah. And just because he's in high school doesn't necessarily mean that he needs to start dating,
Exactly. Yeah.
Everybody's different. I think also too, this brings to light a interesting conversation that I feel like there's a lot of areas in the world and topics and discussions where there's two sides, but at the same time, I feel like we have a lot of work to do, like you said, to sort of make sure that, yes, this is good, that this is getting attention, but at the same time, we need to also make sure, I feel like we need to, I don't know how to explain it. I want everybody to
not yes, equal, I guess, treatment or respect towards each case and not just blow it off oh, you're a man, you should just be able to deal with punches, or she got abusive, so what, don't make her mad. No, abusive behavior in a relationship, whether a man, a woman, woman, man, whatever gender, should not happen.
Yes, exactly.
Not to the point where they're suffering emotionally or physically. That's not okay.
Yes, I agree. That's what I'm saying. Just bottom line, teaching my kids, somebody being mean to you in a physical way or emotional way is not okay. End of story. Doesn't matter who it is or what's going on. There's no reason. Yeah, I think that's a main thing. By the way, there's a bunch of memes going on where a lot of guys on social media are posting ooh, Johnny Depp is the only man in the world that's ever won an argument with a woman or something, making it a little bit lighthearted. And I kind of chuckled because I'm like, I
saw those, and others
kind of right.
Well, technically it was his lawyer.